The stench of disinfectant clung to the air like a bad omen, sharp and sour under too much perfume. Susie Bell's borrowed wedding dress scratched at her collarbone as her uncle shoved her forward along the private floor of Walker Memorial Hospital. The veil was crooked, the tulle was cheap, and her heart felt like it had been dropped into ice water. Move it. Simon Bell's fingers dug into her arm. Do you know how much money I owe? You think Kane Walker waits forever? Behind him, Aunt Mabel's laugh was shrill and sticky sweet, like the perfume she had drowned herself in. Susie, stop being dramatic, Mabel said, tugging at the sash. This is a blessing. The Walkers are the richest family in New York. You marry him, you eat and drink whatever you want for the rest of your life. Yeah, assuming he is not already brain dead, Susie muttered. She stared at the metal plaque on the door ahead. No name, only a number, and the neat logo of the Walker Group. Behind that door lay her so-called groom, Kane Alexander Walker, heir to the Walker conglomerate, cold, ruthless, brilliant, and, after a mysterious car accident, a long-term coma patient. Rumor said he was a vegetable being kept alive by machines and money. Perfect husband material. Simon leaned closer, breath sour with coffee and something stronger. You go in there, you let the pastor read his lines, you hold that vegetable's hand, and the marriage counts. He said. The moment the Walkers recognize you as Mrs. Walker, we are set. If he wakes up, you are the legal wife. If he does not, He shrugged. You live in a mansion and cry on silk sheets. And where in all this do you stop gambling? She asked. His grip tightened. Watch your tone. Mabel huffed. We are doing this for you. If we cannot pay back the money, people come after us. Do you want your uncle hurt? People. Not banks, not polite lawyers. Men who broke fingers. Susie knew exactly which sharks her uncle had borrowed from. She also knew what he was holding over her head. Her parents' old brownstone, the only thing they left before their car crash, was already in Simon's name. He had dangled it like a carrot every time she refused this marriage. If you do not marry, I sell the house. If you do not marry, I throw you out. If you do not marry, your parents' home is gone. She swallowed past the lump in her throat. Fine, she said quietly. But you are not selling the house, uncle. Not now, not ever. Simon smiled, all teeth and no warmth. Of course not. Family first. Liar. The door opened with a soft hiss. An older man in a dark suit stepped out, posture straight, gray hair combed back. His expression was calm, his eyes very sharp. Miss Bell, he said, inclining his head. I am Mr. Foster, Mr. Walker's house steward. Everything is ready. So this was the legendary Mr. Foster. Good, good. Simon shoved her forward again, suddenly all charm. We are honored, Mr. Foster. Susie has been looking forward to this day. Susie shot him a look that could peel paint. Something like amusement flickered in Mr. Foster's eyes and vanished. The pastor is inside, he said. Mr. Walker's parents have signed the consent forms. All that remains is the ceremony. And the money. Simon blurted. I mean, the settlement you promised, once the marriage is done, Mabel elbowed him. Simon. The Walker family honors every contract, Mr. Bell. Mr. Foster said smoothly. Provided there is no breach of trust. His gaze lingered on Simon long enough to make the older man swallow. Susie wondered how much they already knew about her uncle. She also wondered why, with all their options, the Walkers chose a nobody like her. Because I am cheap, she thought. Because I am desperate. Because my uncle practically threw me at them. Susie, Simon hissed. Go in. Do not make me regret raising you. You did not raise me, she thought. I raised myself. But she moved anyway, because she did not have the luxury of pride. Not when her parents' house was on the line. The room was big and white, softer than she expected for an intensive care unit. Machines hummed quietly. Tubes and wires snaked toward the bed in the center. Kane Walker was far too handsome for a long-term coma patient. Dark hair neatly trimmed. Strong jaw. Long lashes. Skin with the faintest hint of color. He looked like he had fallen asleep in a board meeting and never got up. Except for the breathing tube. Except for the IV lines and the bandage near his temple. The pastor stood to one side. A nurse checked a monitor. When they saw her, they both pasted on polite smiles. Miss Bell, are you ready? The pastor asked gently. Absolutely not, she said. But let us do this anyway. A startled laugh escaped the nurse. Mother. Foster let Simon and Mabel slip inside and hover in the back, their chatter dying, when they noticed the discreet camera in the corner. Of course the Walkers recorded everything. Susie walked to the bed, heels sinking into the plush carpet, dress rustling around her legs. The closer she got, the more unreal it felt. She stared down at him. "Hi," she whispered. "I am Susie. Apparently we are getting married. Try not to be more disappointing than my last 3 boyfriends." The pastor cleared his throat. "If everyone is ready, we can begin." They brought over a small table with a velvet cushion and 2 rings. The pastor opened his book. His voice was steady as he recited the familiar vows. "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today." Susie heard the words like they were coming from underwater. She took the pen the nurse handed her. The marriage license waited on the clipboard. Kane Alexander Walker, Susanna Grace Bell. She signed where they pointed. When the pastor asked if she would take this man, in sickness and in health, richer or poorer, she almost laughed. "In sickness, clearly." She muttered. Out loud she said, "I do." Simon exhaled like he had just won a race. She slid the ring onto Kane's finger herself, careful of the wires. "By the authority vested in me," the pastor finished, "I now pronounce you husband and wife." No music, no kiss, no flowers. Just the beep of the heart monitor, and the soft, greedy chuckle of her uncle. "It is done," Simon said. "We are family now." Susie patted Kane's cool hand. "Lucky you," she murmured. When the pastor and nurse left, Mr. Foster stayed long enough to speak to her. "From this moment, you are Mrs. Walker," he said. "This room, this floor, and the Walker estate are open to you. If you need anything, ask me." "Can you give me my life back?" she blurted. His brows lifted. "Alas, no," he said. "But I can make sure you are treated properly while you are here." "Properly. Like a wife. Like a pawn." "Thank you, Mr. Foster," she said anyway. Simon stepped up quickly. "About the money. The financial arrangements will be transferred to the account you provided," Mr. Foster said coldly. "Once our lawyers confirm all documents, you will be notified." Simon deflated with relief. "Of course," he said. "We trust the Walker Group completely." Liar number 2, Susie thought. Mr. Foster turned to her again. His gaze softened. "I will give you a few minutes alone with your husband," he said. "Talking to him may help, so they say." "Sure," she said. "Why not traumatize him on our wedding day?" Simon perked up. Yes, talk to him," he said. "They say newlyweds bonding is good for waking up coma patients, right, Mabel? Tell him how much you love him," Mabel added. Susie managed not to gag. Mr. Foster herded them gently out. The door closed with a soft click. Silence fell. Susie let out a slow breath. Her shoulders slumped. The dress pinched, the bra dug into her ribs, and her scalp hurt where the veil cone was jammed in. She looked at Kane again. "Hi," she said. "I am Susie, 22, fan of instant noodles and true crime podcasts. I was just sold to you to pay off my uncle's gambling debt." She dragged a chair over and dropped into it. "Everybody keeps calling this a blessing," she went on, "as if marrying a man in a coma is some kind of Cinderella upgrade. Newsflash, Prince Charming, I did not grow up dreaming about this." No response. "Just the machines. If you wake up, you are not allowed to be a jerk," she said. "Coma plus jerk is too much. You better be grateful, rich, and willing to do your own laundry." Still nothing. Susie tipped her head back and stared at the ceiling. "Anyway, here is the deal," she said. "I am stuck with you, you are stuck with me, my uncle gets his money, I get to keep my parents' house, and you get someone to talk to you so you do not die of boredom." She patted his arm lightly. "So, Kane Walker, welcome to our tragic partnership." On the other side of the door, Emma. Foster paused, listening to the young woman talking to his silent employer. Something like hope tugged at the corner of his mouth. On the bed, under the sheet, Kane's fingers twitched, the faintest hint that the vegetable might not be entirely gone. The Walker estate looked like it had been ripped from a glossy magazine and dropped on the outskirts of Manhattan. White stone, black iron, manicured lawns, armed security. A week after the hospital wedding, Susie arrived in a rattling cab with one small suitcase and 2 relatives she wished were not hers. "You hit the jackpot, girl." Simon whistled as the gates swung open. "It is not a jackpot if I was sold for it," she said, hugging her suitcase. "Do not say that near the cameras," Mabel hissed. Mr. Foster met them at the front steps with 2 staff members. He opened the cab door himself. "Mrs. Walker," he said. The title hit Susie like a thrown stone. She accepted his hand, boots crunching lightly on the gravel. "If you will follow me," he said, "I will show you to Mr. Walker's suite. Our room." Simon cut in quickly. "We are her family. I am sure there is space for us to stay. Just until things settle down, you know. Money is tight back home. The Walker estate has strict residency rules. Mr. Foster replied. Only immediate family of the head of the household may live here. The guest wing is under renovation. Simon's smile cracked. You expect us to drive all the way back tonight? He demanded. The settlement has been transferred to your account. Mr. Foster said mildly. I trust it is sufficient for a hotel. Simon blinked. How did you? The Walker family keeps records of everything. Mr. Foster said. Good evening, Mr. Bell, Mrs. Bell. He turned away, dismissing them. Susie bit back a laugh when Simon realized he was outmaneuvered. He clapped her shoulder too hard. Be good, he said. Do not forget where you came from. Oh, I will not, she said. Trauma is very memorable. Mabel pressed a lipstick smear to her cheek. Call us if you need anything, she said. Sure, Susie said. I will call you if I ever need an example of what not to do. The cab rolled away. The estate grew quiet. I apologize for their behavior, she said to Mr. Foster. They are like that with everyone. No need, he said. I have seen worse. He led her through the marble foyer, past glittering chandeliers and oil paintings. She tried not to let her jaw drop. It is like walking into a very expensive museum, she muttered. To the family, it is just home, he said. Must be nice. They took the elevator to the third floor, where the air smelled faintly of antiseptic and coffee. Nurses moved quietly, tablets in hand. The third floor is reserved for Mr. Walker, Mr. Foster said. His suite was converted to accommodate his medical needs. So you turned his bedroom into a private ICU, she said. In simpler terms, yes. He stopped at a set of double doors. Before you go in, he added quietly, know that your presence seems to matter to him. She blinked. He is still in a coma, she said. Perhaps, Mr. Foster replied. But when you visited in the hospital, his vitals reacted. Heart rate, brain activity. The doctors were intrigued. Talking to him is not a waste of time. He opened the door. Kane's bed sat near tall windows overlooking a winter garden. Machines beeped softly. The room looked more like a very tasteful bedroom that happened to contain life support. He looked the same. Too handsome, too still. Hey again, Susie said. House upgrade. Same guest. Miller. Foster showed her the adjoining bedroom that now belonged to her, pointed out the service bell, then left her alone with her husband and the beeping. So, she said, flopping into the chair by his bed. It is just you and me now, and the very expensive orchestra behind you. For the first few days, she simply talked. She told him about working double shifts at a coffee shop to secretly pay down pieces of Simon's debt. She told him about the old brownstone, the squeaky stair on the third step, the way afternoon light hit the living room wall. She told him about girls from high school who suddenly added her when news of her marriage leaked. They call me lucky, she said one night, wrapped in a blanket by his bed. You know what luck looks like to me? Paying rent on time, buying cereal I actually like, going to sleep without counting how many threats came in that day. His face did not move. His heart rate did, just a little. When she got tired of talking, she upgraded to performing. On a long, quiet afternoon, she pulled up an old pop playlist on her phone. All right, Kane, she said. Time for your daily shock therapy. She hit play and started to dance, wildly offbeat, belting out the chorus like nobody was listening. Someone was. From behind the fog of his damaged brain, Kane Walker clung to sound. At first it was only machines, nurses reciting numbers, doctors using words like prognosis and rehab. Then came her. The girl with the scratchy dress and the sharp tongue. Her voice cut through the darkness and refused to leave. She called him a vegetable and a prince in the same breath. She complained about cheap noodles and expensive mistakes. She cursed her uncle and promised to drink his wine. Every day, she came back. Every day, her voice tugged him closer to the surface. The afternoon she decided to dance might have been the most ridiculous thing he had ever heard. She sang off-key. She stomped. She threatened to sue him if he woke up and laughed. He would have laughed if his body had listened. Somewhere near the door, his cousin Brad's voice slid into the room like oil. Susie, you should rest, Brad said. You have been here all day. Let the nurses handle things. Susie froze mid-flail. Oh, it is you, she said flatly. Nice to see you too, Brad replied. You are really a dedicated, singing and everything. Somebody has to bring entertainment, she said. Are you here to contribute or just to judge? Kane's blood pressure monitors jumped. Brad, The charming, hungry cousin. The man whose phone records Kane had traced to shell companies right before his brakes failed. I just do not want you exhausting yourself, Brad said now, stepping closer. If Kane were awake, he would tell you to take care of yourself first. You mean he would fire you? Susie said. At least that is what the gossip blogs say. Kane decided, floating there between darkness and light, that if he ever moved again, he would make sure his cousin regretted everything. And he would keep the girl who sang terribly and told the truth. The storm hit on a Thursday. Snow fell in fat flakes past the windows of Kane's suite, turning the gardens into a half-finished postcard. Inside, the heaters hummed and the air felt too warm. Susie was curled on the couch with a blanket and her laptop, half watching a cooking show and half scrolling through job listings she could not take. Married, living in a mansion, no degree, spotty resume. Hilarious. Her inbox was clogged with messages from people who had never remembered her birthday, but suddenly remembered her name. Hey girl, long time no talk. Saw the news, wow, congrats. Any internships at your husband's company? She closed the tab before she said something she could not unsend. You know, she said, twisting toward the bed. If you wake up, you are going to find out half the city thinks we are some kind of romantic movie. Poor girl marries rich heir, true love conquers all. They keep editing your face with flower crowns. It is a crime. The monitor beeped calmly. She patted over, blanket trailing. All right, time for your face spa, she said. The nurses had taught her how to wipe his face and moisturize his skin. It made her feel less like a prop and more like a something. She ran the warm sponge along his jaw. If you wake up with amazing skin, you owe me, she said. I should start charging. Her phone buzzed on the table. Unknown number. Her stomach dropped. The call went to voicemail, then came again. Persistent. She sighed and answered. Hello? Susie, sweetheart. Simon's syrupy voice oozed down the line. There you are. Your aunt and I were just talking about you. What do you want? She asked, already exhausted. Is that how you greet family? He demanded. We were worried. You never call. We thought maybe the Walkers were mistreating you. They are not, she said. Now you can stop worrying. He sighed dramatically. I am glad you are all right, he said. Because things here are complicated. How much? She asked. Silence. Susie, that is not. How much, uncle? She repeated. He coughed. Just a small setback, he said. Bad luck at the tables. You know how it goes. I thought maybe, since you are Mrs. Walker, you could ask them for a little advance, just to tide us over. Rage climbed her spine. You already got a settlement, she said. A big one. Where did it go? Unexpected expenses. He snapped. Poker chips? She shot back. Cheap whiskey? Watch your mouth. He snarled. We are still family. Family helps family. Family does not sell their niece like a used car, she said. I am not your ATM. If you keep calling, I will tell Mr. Foster everything, and let Walker lawyers handle you. You ungrateful little. She hung up. Her hand shook. She stared at the phone, then tossed it onto the couch like it burned. She turned back to Kane. Sorry you had to hear that, she said. Congratulations, you just witnessed my spine growing in real time. She reached for the towel. His fingers moved. At first she thought she imagined it. A tiny twitch, so small it could have been a trick of the light. Then his hand curled, just enough that his fingers brushed hers. She dropped the towel. Kane, she whispered. Can you hear me? Nothing. She grabbed his hand. Do that again, she begged. Please. His thumb rubbed weakly against her knuckles. She screamed. The door flew open. Carla, the nurse, charged in, followed by another nurse and Mr. Foster. What happened? Carla demanded. He moved. Susie said, pointing. His hand. He grabbed me. I swear I am not crazy. Mr. Walker, Carla said, leaning over him. If you can hear me, blink. For a long, terrifying moment, nothing happened. Then his lashes fluttered. Once. Twice. Susie's knees nearly gave out. His vitals climbed on the monitor. The room snapped into controlled chaos. Nurses adjusted settings. Someone paged the doctor. Miller. Foster watched, hands clasped behind his back, eyes bright. Kane, Carla said. Squeeze Susie's hand if you can. He did. Weak, but real. By evening, after more tests and more blinking and another round of cautious optimism, the miracle turned into something bigger. Kane opened his eyes. The world came into focus in pieces. Ceiling, light. Faces blurred at the edges. And then her, messy bun, Tired eyes, tear tracks on her cheeks. Her fingers were tangled with his. "Hi," she said, voice shaking with a laugh. "I am the girl who has been oversharing for 2 weeks. Welcome back, I guess." He tried to speak. His throat scraped. Carla gave him a straw, and cold water soothed the dryness. He focused on the girl. "Susie," he croaked. She let out a half sob, half laugh. "Okay, good, your brain works," she said. "At least a little." "Who are you?" he rasped, even though he already knew. "My wife?" Her eyes widened. "Yeah," she said. "That is me. Legally, anyway." The door opened. Brad strode in, face lit with theatrical joy. "Kane!" he exclaimed. "You are awake. This is incredible. You scared us all." Kane turned his head slowly, as if the effort cost him. "Who are you?" he asked. The room went still. Brad's smile faltered. "It is me," he said. "Brad, your cousin. We run the company together. Remember?" Kane frowned faintly. "Company?" he repeated. "I do not, eh?" He let confusion cloud his eyes and watched panic flare in Brad's. Susie stared between them, her brain connecting dots faster than she liked. He was faking. He was awake, aware, and lying through perfect teeth. On purpose. She should have been mad. Instead, she felt something like wild amusement bubble up. "Well, this is fun," she said. "If he does not remember the company, he does not have to sit through boring meetings. Bad news, Brad, he still remembers me." Kane squeezed her hand again, just enough for her to feel the deliberate pressure. "I remember your voice," he said to her. "You kept talking. I have followed it." Brad looked like he wanted to throw something. Outside the room, Emitter. Foster allowed himself the smallest, quickest smile. Stage 2 of the plan had begun. Kane's recovery moved faster than the doctors expected. Within a week, he could sit up alone. Within 2, he stood with a cane and shuffled short distances. He let his legs tremble more when Brad visited. "I am just so tired," he would say faintly, messing with his blanket. "I do not understand anything about the company. It is all so confusing." Brad would smile through his teeth. "Do not worry," he would say. "You can trust me. I have been handling everything." The second Brad left, Kane would straighten, roll his shoulders, and smirk. "He really thought I did not understand cash flow," he said once. "You did nearly face-plant pretending you forgot how the elevator works," Susie pointed out. "Commitment to the bit," he said. One quiet morning, when the nurses had left, and the world outside was pale and cold, she finally asked what had been sitting on her tongue for days. "How much do you actually remember?" she said. He studied her. "Enough," he said slowly. "I remember the company. I remember Brad. I remember the accident. The rest is patchy, but not as bad as I let them think." "So the amnesia is fake," she said. "Partial," he corrected. "The doctors said my memory might be fuzzy. I decided to lean into it. It keeps Brad cocky and sloppy while I finish gathering proof." "And me?" she asked. "Where do I fit in the mastermind plan?" His expression softened. "At first you were a legal shield," he admitted. "My parents pushed for the marriage when I was out. By making you my wife, they locked my shares away from Brad. If I died, the stock would go to you, not to him." She swallowed. "So I was a human safe," she said. "In legal terms, yes," he said. "In human terms, he hesitated. "In human terms, your voice was the only thing that made me want to come back," he said quietly. "You were the only person in the room who talked to me like I was a person, not a diagnosis or a wallet." Her cheeks burned. "I said terrible things," she muttered. "I called you Prince Vegetable." "I remember," he said. "It was refreshing." She groaned. "Please forget that part." "Not a chance," he said. He sobered. "Susie, I cannot rewrite how this started," he said. "You were pushed into this, used as a bargaining chip, but it does not have to stay that way. As long as you are here, you are not a prop. You are my wife. If you want it, you can be my partner." She stared at him. "Partner in what?" she asked. "Revenge? Board meetings? Teaching you TikTok?" "All of the above," he said. "Especially the revenge." They fell into a new rhythm. Mornings, he worked quietly on his laptop, pretending to scroll aimlessly when staff came in. In reality, he combed through financials and forwarded files to a detective he trusted. Afternoons, she helped with physical therapy, threatening to hide his cane if he slacked. She counted steps aloud and cheered, way too loud, every time he made it to the window and back. Evenings, they ate together at the small table in his suite, ignoring the formal dining room. It is haunted, he said when she asked why. By what? She snorted. Dead rich people. By terrible dinner conversations. He said. I survived years of board members bragging about yachts. I am not going back until I absolutely have to. She decided she liked the version of him that admitted things like that. Her phone buzzed constantly. Unknown numbers, old classmates, friends. She let most of it go to voicemail. You know you can change your number, he said once. What if people say I am ungrateful? She asked. They already do, he said. Might as well earn it. She laughed, the knot in her chest loosening. Eventually, Simon and Mabel showed up at the gate in a rented car, and sunglasses they could not pull off. They yelled at the intercom until security called up. You do not have to see them, Kane said. Say the word, they go home. I want to, she said slowly. But not alone. He wheeled himself down to the small sitting room off the foyer, Kane resting across his lap more for show than need. Susie sat beside him, back straight. Simon and Mabel swept in, eyes wide at the tasteful decor, and the two silent security guards by the door. Susie, Simon boomed. Look at you, living the dream. Mabel clutched her fake pearls. We were so worried, she said sweetly to Kane. We had to come make sure our little girl was treated well. My wife is not neglected, Kane said calmly. She is the lady of this house. Simon waved a hand. Of course, he said. We are happy for her, but things at home are tight. I had a misunderstanding with some friends, and now there are debts and deadlines, and very unpleasant men. We thought maybe the Walkers could help. Just a small loan. As family. Susie's fingers curled. You already got money, she said. The settlement. Where did it go? Unexpected. Poker chips. She cut in. Right. You owe us. Mabel snapped, dropping the saint act. We took you in. Fed you. You took my house. Susie said. Sold me. There is a difference. Kane's eyes sharpened. Mr. Bell, he said. The settlement for consenting to our marriage was generous. We have clear records of the transfer. If your creditors threaten you, we can involve the police. Provided you want that kind of attention. Simon blanched. That will not be necessary, he said quickly. We just need cash. Fast. Then I am afraid I cannot help you, Kane said. Walker Group does not extend credit to men who sell their family and then come back for more. How dare you? Mabel hissed. We are her only family. Correction, Susie said, standing. You were. I am done. Susie. No, she said. I am done answering your calls. I am done being your ATM. If you keep showing up, the next conversation you have is with the Walker lawyers and the police. Simon looked at the security guards, at Kane's steady gaze, at Susie's set jaw. Fine. He spat. Do not come crawling back when they throw you out. You are nothing without us. Susie smiled, small and sharp. I was nothing because of you, she said. Now I have a shot at being something else. They left in a flurry of cheap cologne and resentment. The moment the door closed, her shoulders sagged. Her breath came fast, like she had run a race. Kane reached for her hand. You did well, he said quietly. I feel like I swallowed glass, she muttered. That is what burning bridges feels like, he said. Sometimes you have to, or the same monsters keep crossing over. She let out a shaky laugh. You and your metaphors, she said. You and your terrible karaoke, he replied. Shut up, she said, but she was smiling. By the time the Walker Group's quarterly board meeting rolled around, Kane could walk without the cane. He still took it. Appearances mattered. In their bedroom, Susie stood in front of the mirror in a simple black dress that hugged her waist and hit just above her knees. It is not too much? She asked, smoothing the fabric. You look perfect, he said from the doorway. You say that because you want me calm, she replied. I say that because it is true, he said. Also because if you panic, I might panic, and then Brad wins. She snorted. Remind me again why I have to be there, she said. I am not a board member. You are my wife, he said. Your name is on the company ownership chart. You are the reason Brad cannot just slide into my shares like they are an open seat. I want the board to see that. Great, she said. No pressure. The boardroom on the top floor had a wall of glass looking over Manhattan. A long table gleamed under perfect lights. Leather chairs waited like thrones. Brad was already there, sleeves crisp, smile perfectly calibrated. Kane, he said warmly. If you feel overwhelmed, we can postpone. Your health comes first. I am fine, Kane said mildly, leaning on the cane a touch more than necessary. But thank you, Brad. Brad's gaze flicked to Susie. And Mrs. Walker, he said. You look very polished. Married life suits you. Money launders surprising amounts of trauma, she said. Who knew? A few board members hid smiles. They took their seats. Kane at the head, Susie at his right, Brad at his left, Mr. Foster by the door. The meeting started with reports and charts. Brad walked the room through strategic reallocations and flexible investment vehicles. Basking under the board's attention, Kane led him. When Brad clicked to the next slide, Kane raised a hand. Before we move on, he said calmly, I would like to review a few specific transactions. Brad's smile stiffened. Of course, he said. Which ones? Kane tapped a key. The screen changed. Numbers, dates, arrows connecting shell companies appeared. Some names were familiar. Some were clearly built to sound boring. These, Kane said. Over the last 18 months, large sums have moved through these entities. On paper, they are consultants and vendors. In reality, He clicked again. The slide zoomed in, showing the same P.O. box address on different companies, the same two men signing as directors. They are all controlled by one private equity firm in the Cayman Islands. The room murmured. Brad cleared his throat. We work with many firms, he said. It is standard practice. What is not standard? Kane cut in. Is paying $50 million in consulting fees to a company with no employees, or that company sending the money to a personal account named BW Holdings. He clicked again. A bank statement appeared. The name at the top was circled in red. Bradley Walker. One of the older directors swore under his breath. This is taken out of context. Brad snapped. You cannot just leak private records like that. It is illegal. What is illegal? Kane said quietly. Is stealing from your own company and trying to kill your cousin when he gets too close. He let the words hang there. Are you accusing your cousin of attempted murder, Mr. Walker? One director asked carefully. Kane did not look away from Brad. I am accusing him of theft, he said. The attempted murder is for the police to discuss. Brad laughed, too loudly. Listen to yourself, he said. You have been awake for what, a month? Your doctors said you have memory issues. You cannot even remember me. You cannot come in here with some conspiracy board and expect us to believe. You are right, Kane said. I cannot rely on memory alone. He nodded toward the door. It opened. A detective and a woman carrying a thin folder walked in. Detective Morales, Assistant District Attorney Chu. Kane said. Thank you for joining us. Brad's face went gray. You called the police? He hissed. Detective Morales laid out documents. We have been reviewing the financial trail Mr. Walker provided, he said. Several shell companies, all tied back to accounts in your name. We also have your phone pinging near a certain garage the night before Kane's accident. That garage is under investigation for tampering with brake lines. This is ridiculous, Brad said, voice cracking. You are all being played. Kane was drunk. Everyone knows that. The blood work from the night of the crash shows zero alcohol, the ADA said coolly. What it does show is air in the brake lines. That does not happen by accident. Brad looked around wildly, searching for an ally, and finding only wary faces. This is not over, he sputtered. You cannot just throw me out. I am a Walker. Kane's expression did not change. You are welcome to tell that to the judge, he said. For now, you are suspended from all duties, effective immediately. Detective Morales stepped forward. Bradley Walker, you are under arrest on suspicion of embezzlement, fraud, and conspiracy to commit attempted murder, he said. You have the right to remain silent, eh? As the detective read him his rights, Brad's gaze landed on Susie. For a second, his mask dropped and she saw raw fury. You did this, he hissed. She raised a brow. You did this, she said. You just picked the wrong cousin to mess with. The guards led him out. The door shut. Silence flooded back in. One director cleared his throat. Well, he said weakly. That was eventful. Welcome back, Mr. Walker. Another murmured. Kane sat slowly, the adrenaline crash making his hands shake. Thank you for your patience, he said. I know this was not an ordinary meeting, but I will not let this company rot from the inside. He looked around the table. If anyone has a problem with transparency, he added, there are doors. Nobody moved. When the meeting adjourned, the board members filed out in hushed clumps. Only Kane and Susie remained. She let out a long breath. Well, she said. That was casual. You really know how to throw a family reunion. He laughed tiredly. Sorry, he said. I meant to schedule the coup and the arrest on different days, but my calendar is a mess. She studied him. Are you okay? She asked. You still burn out fast. I will be, he said. Today was worth it. Brad is out. The board has seen what I am willing to do. The rest is paperwork. She tilted her head. For a guy who spent months pretending to be a vegetable, she said. You are very dramatic. He smiled. Look who turned my hospital room into a karaoke bar, he said. She rolled her eyes. If you ever tell anyone about my dancing, I am filing for divorce, she said. Noted, he said. I will blackmail you instead. She laughed. Somewhere deep in his chest, a tight knot he had not noticed loosened. He was still standing, and he was not alone. Spring came slowly to New York. The snow melted into cold rain. Then buds appeared on the estate trees, and the garden turned from gray to green. The headlines turned from Miracle Heir Wakes Up to Walker Cousin Faces Charges. News about Brad's case trickled in. His lawyers tried to make deals. The prosecutors did not bite. The evidence Kane had gathered was too clean, too much money, too many signatures, too many text messages from Brad to shady contacts. Simon's story unraveled too. The Walker lawyers, with Susie's hesitant blessing, handed over every IOU threat and bank transfer they had. Simon went to jail screaming that she had betrayed him. She cried once in the shower, water hot enough to hide the tears, then dried her face and told herself she had finally stopped betraying herself. You are allowed to be sad, Kane said when she admitted it. I am not sad for him, she said. I am sad for the version of me that kept hoping he would change. That version grew up, he said. She deserves better. Better is terrifying, she admitted. They sat in the garden, jackets on against the cool air. Bees fussed around early flowers. Why? He asked. When I had nothing, my choices were made for me, she said. You go where the debt goes. You marry where the debt goes. Now I have options, and every option feels like a new way to mess up. He thought about that. If you wanted to leave, he said slowly. You could. She blinked. What? If you want out, we can annul the marriage quietly, he said. We can set you up with an apartment, a bank account, whatever you need. You would not owe me anything. I do not want you here because you were sold here. Her throat closed. And you? She managed. What do you want? He took his time. I want to keep this company clean, he said. I want my family name to mean something better than gossip. He hesitated. And I want a life that is not just spreadsheets and lawsuits. A home, laughter, someone who tells me when I am being an idiot instead of nodding along. You are describing me again, she said. I am aware, he said. She stared at her hands. I do not know how to want big things, she said. Every time I started, something bad happened, so I stopped. What if we start small? He suggested. You pick one thing you want. Today, not for the rest of your life, just now. I will do what I can. She surprised herself with how quickly the answer came. I want to go back to my parents' house, she said. Just once, knowing no one can throw me out next week. I want to walk through it without wondering which piece is already sold. I want to say goodbye or hello properly. I do not even know which. He squeezed her hand. Done, he said. We will go this weekend. You cannot just decide that, she said weakly. I can, he said. I am very rich and irritatingly determined. She laughed, a little breathless. They went on Saturday. No convoy, no drama. Just a black SUV, plain clothes, and coffee in cardboard cups. The brownstone looked smaller than she remembered. The paint was older. The front steps still had the same cracks. Her hand shook as she unlocked the door with the key she had never returned to Simon. Dust motes danced in the light. The air smelled like old wood and something faintly sweet. She walked through the rooms slowly, touching furniture, walls, picture hooks with no photos. This was my mom's chair, she said, running a hand over the armrest. She read here every night. My dad always fell asleep 5 pages in. She choked on a laugh, tears sliding down her face. I thought I would never see this place again, she whispered. I thought I signed it away. You did not, Kane said gently. Simon forged parts of the transfer. Our lawyers reversed it. The title is in your name now. She turned so fast she almost slipped. What? It is your house, he said. Legally, permanently, no strings. She stared at him. Why did you not tell me? She demanded. I wanted you to feel it before you saw paperwork. He said. Sometimes it is better that way. She put both hands over her face. I hate you, she said thickly. No, you do not, he said. She stepped forward and pressed her forehead to his chest. No, I do not, she admitted. They spent the day opening windows, sweeping, ordering pizza from the corner place that still remembered her order. In the small bedroom that had been hers, she stood in the doorway and watched Kane look around. This could be your art studio, he said. Or a backup escape route when my relatives get too loud. Or where I store the videos of you drooling, she said. He narrowed his eyes. You recorded me? Maybe, she said. On the drive back, she sat sideways, watching his profile as he drove. Kane, she said. Yes. I made a decision, she said quietly. His fingers tightened on the steering wheel. And? He asked. She took a breath. I want to stay, she said. Here, with you. Not because it is safe. Not because I am scared. Because when I picture leaving now, it feels wrong. And when I picture annoying you for the rest of your life, it feels right. He exhaled, shoulders dropping. Okay, he said simply. Then we stay. She frowned. That is it? She asked. No contract? No 6-page speech? I can be dramatic later, he said. Right now I am trying not to hit potholes. He was dramatic later. A week later, just after sunset, he led her out to the garden. Fairy lights twined through the hedges. The air was soft. The city hummed in the distance. She eyed the scene. This is suspicious, she said. You do not bring me somewhere this cute without a reason. He was in a dark suit, tie loose. She was in the yellow dress he liked, the one he had once said made her look like sunlight. At the center of the lawn, a small table held a box. When they reached it, he went to one knee. Her heart stopped. Kane, we are already married, she blurted. I know, he said. The first time was paperwork and panic. The second time should be ours. He opened the box. The ring inside was simpler than the original band. Less show, more them. Susie Bell, he said. When I was out, your voice was the only thing that cut through the dark. When I woke up, you were the one person who did not try to use me. You yelled at me. You stood up to my cousin. You cut ties with people who hurt you. You stayed when you could have run. His voice roughened. I cannot change how we started, he said. But I can choose what comes next. So I am asking, here and now, while we are both awake and nobody is signing anything behind our backs, will you marry me again? Not as a debt, not as a pawn, as my partner, my equal, the woman I love. Her vision went blurry. You love me? She managed. Yes, he said simply. In a way that makes board meetings boring. A laugh bubbled out of her, tangled with tears. You are ridiculous, she said. Is that a no? He asked lightly, but his eyes were not joking. She shook her head hard. That is a very loud yes, you idiot, she said. Of course yes. I love you too, even when you fake amnesia to mess with people. Relief broke across his face like sunlight. He slipped the ring onto her finger and stood, pulling her into a kiss that tasted like new beginnings and pepperoni from the leftover pizza they had eaten in the kitchen. The fairy lights glowed. Somewhere, a security camera probably captured the whole thing. For once, Susie did not care. A girl who had been sold to settle a debt stood in the garden of the man who had once been a vegetable, and knew this was not luck. This was choice. This was home.
Thanks for watching. Follow for more romance stories.